So at this point, you got to see, of those rookies, who's going to stand out against the veterans, right? And it's going to get tougher, so it's going to be more physical, and you got to be ready for this. And so looking forward to it's obviously coming out Wednesday, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but
Yep.
We'll be at that InterSquad game Monday night. We'll be at the exhibition game Tuesday, and then that's why I don't really want to talk about too much, because there's a lot that's going to happen in the next few days, and
by the time we get back here in 2 weeks, there could be a lot of different looking roster, and
we'll probably be down to
and we like
more or less a roster.
Sometimes have a roster in the start of training camp to see how good it goes, and I couldn't find a wheel because I was going to be like, all right, let's pick this guy, because it's a competitive camp.
Yeah.
All right, and as we say, it's tough to put together a roster, and what we're going to do, we actually are going to be joined by someone who has put this team together. We're pleased to be joined by the architect of the Moncton Wildcats, GM Taylor MacDougall. Taylor, how are you tonight?
Doing well. How you guys doing?
Doing well. Good to be back.
Yeah, good to. Like I said off the start, it feels like a shorter off season, but we usually go to the draft and then start. So, how's it been off season wise for you? Did you actually get a chance to rest?
It was a pretty busy off season that way, if you could call it that. But no, it was good. We were working pretty much right into training camp. But like we've said before, short off seasons are a good problem to have. So all good.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, a few days into camp now. Just what are your thoughts on how things are going?
Yeah, it's been exciting. It's been I've really enjoyed watching it. To be honest, like we're fortunate. I think the level the first 3 days today was our first day of call it main camp or having the older guys in. But the first 3 days with the younger or the new players was really enjoyable to watch. We were fortunate with the skill level that we got to evaluate, and we're looking forward to continuing to evaluate it this week.
I want to talk about our tariff-free editions, as I've been calling them, with the American players, because everything's being tariffed except for the NCAA guys. But like I said early on, I mean, there isn't a CHL team that's benefited from this rule as much as we have. So I guess for some of the fans of the players and seeing all these Americans, I mean, how long have they been on the radar? How much of it just came together once the rule change happened and you guys went into overdrive while trying to put a championship together? Or just how much of that craziness has happened a couple of years and into this summer?
Yeah, I guess. And obviously every player has a little different backstory and things like that. But
right.
The changes were a little bit, in a way simultaneous with beginning to build a roster for this season, right? Like we were obviously really fixated on the day-to-day last season, and kind of the wins and losses throughout the week. But then we weren't very long in our kind of tenure here when those rule changes did happen. So, it was nice where there were certain players that we had spoken to prior to those rule changes, and we planned on being very aggressive, even if the rules didn't change. And then when they did, it just sort of fast tracked, and then in some cases expedited, and then in other cases expanded, kind of recruiting searches and efforts and things like that. But overall, it's really exciting, and I think every team in this league will benefit from it, and in our league will benefit from it. Like I think the caliber of the league will go up, and we just hope to be a part of that.
Yeah, looking at some of the guys that were drafted last year, attending their second camps, like Batchelder and Nikash and Wiener and Morissette Richer. Like, what improvements have you seen from those guys compared to, I guess, last August?
Yeah, it's a big difference going from kind of your first camp experience to your second, for a variety of reasons. But you kind of have that confidence. It's not all, not everything's new. You kind of know where to go. You know the routine a little bit. You're a year older. You're a year further into your development. So I think in all those players' cases, they're all players that they're really excited about evaluating and really excited to have in the organization. But we notice a big jump in kind of their confidence. Even a guy like Victor, he shows up and he can just, can just tell he's a year. He's got a year of life experience under his belt too. I think there's been a really big jump in that player's development in the last year as with the other ones. So no, you definitely notice a difference.
When you're kind of putting your off-season puzzle together and what players could look like and all that kind of stuff, did it make it a little bit easier when Rudy decided to come back? A, because he played so well for us last year, and B, maybe you don't have to go spend some assets on a goalie, and you can keep those assets for the deadline to improve in another place or something like that. Does that kind of stuff make it a little easier when a goaltender of his caliber kind of comes back and you're like, cool, we got our starter. Now we can build around and build out from there.
Yeah, well, it was so key for so many different reasons, like ones that you mentioned there. Yeah. Knowing that our decor is something that we're hopeful and we're excited about, but it's also one that's going to be light on experience in this league. So to have a layer behind them that does have experience in that league, we think that that's super important. And then you factor in the caliber of goaltender we believe Rudy is, and the person that he is. And kind of the presence that he brings to our dressing room and everything like that, it was a really key person to have back in the organization this year. And we're really excited about it.
Anytime you can bring, 6 quality 20-year-olds to camp let's be honest, it's a good problem to have, right? But like, you can only keep 3, and Rudy's going to be able to have one of those spots. So like, do you have a timeline as to when you'd like to have those 3 confirmed? And I guess it's kind of a second part question. How often is your phone ringing about those guys and, their availability?
Yeah, I think the whole situation is pretty fluid. Like you said, we're very fortunate as an organization to have that many talented players in camp, and even Simon Mullen plans to join us in a few days at camp for an exhibition game or 2 as well. So they add so much to the camp in terms of caliber, but they're also all excellent people and bring really good experience and leadership with them. And then in terms of when that situation's resolved, I think it's a day-by-day kind of fluid situation where, a guy like Dylan McKinnon's will get an extended look at Boston's NHL camp. Alex Mercier is going to Ottawa's rookie tournament. So, it's just kind of a situation that we'll sort out day to day as we evaluate kind of where each player's at.
I guess I'll get the question that all of our fans are like, ask him this one. Our captain, Caleb Desnoyers, was just put out everywhere that he was going for wrist surgery and out for up to 12 weeks. Did you know this was coming? How does this kind of change your plans, if it changes at all? And just obviously, I assume, I'm going to guess he may be back as just kind of being a captain, or do you have an update on the situation?
Yeah, and Caleb's situation was one where we knew there was a chance that he may need surgery, but I think everybody, Caleb, Utah included, were hopeful that maybe it was a situation that would resolve itself through treatment this summer, but that obviously didn't take place, and it became clear that it was in Caleb's best interest in the short and long term to have the procedure that he did, and everyone's always going to be very supportive of what's best for a player, but in particular Caleb's case. So that was something we found out a couple of weeks ago. And we'll take the recovery as it comes here. And he was a guy that we had planned to probably, I didn't anticipate him having a short tenure at his Utah NHL camp. So, it'll probably, with the procedure now, it'll probably, delay his start in Moncton by maybe a couple weeks more than we were anticipating. But also, we think first and foremost, Caleb's better off for it, and that's the most important thing. But also to get him back, whenever that is, or end of October-ish or something like that, and have him at full health when, he wasn't at full health for a large period of last year. We're just, we're really excited about what that could look like.
So there is a chance he could play before he leaves for the World Juniors, is what you're saying? We won't miss him until the end of January.
Yeah, no, that would be. Again, you never know how these things go, right? Typically with young high performance athletes, they're they recover under that timeline, but we want to do it responsibly. And sometimes rehab doesn't go as planned and it goes a little bit longer too. So like I said, we'll always do what's in the best interest for Caleb, but he's a fiery kid. He doesn't, he wants to play hockey. So we'll make sure he's responsible and diligent, but we look forward to having him back sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always positive. Yeah. That's some good news.
Yeah.
No, last one for me, Taylor. I think when we had you on kind of post-trade deadline, I asked you about, being from New Brunswick, your feelings on, Bathurst moving to St. John's and, obviously being bittersweet. But, fast forward to now, you're going to be defending your title at the start of the defense of your title in St. John's against the regiment, going full circle from player to GM. How special is that for you to kick off the season on the Rock?
Yeah, it's really cool. And it's an awesome opportunity as our organization to get to take part in that. And it's it's exciting from the organization standpoint, it's exciting from the league standpoint, and obviously personally having a bit of experience with that fan base and having a chance to live in St. John's for 2 years. I'm thrilled for that market. I'm excited to see that team kind of establish themselves in that city and in that community, and there's no question they'll do very well.
And it's pretty evident the fans are excited for your return with both games already sold out. So,
oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure that's all related to me. It's definitely no. They're I would say sold out in spite of, as opposed to as opposed to in anticipation of.
When we talk to a Newfoundland guy, we'll make sure to let him know that it's a big night for to have you back in that building. But obviously it's a quick week and a long week, I guess, for you. So we really appreciate you taking the time and have a good rest of main camp, and hopefully we can do this more often during the year.
Perfect. Looking forward to it. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks
Taylor. Yeah. It's much easier to play a GM on a podcast when you don't have to do as much work. Like, that guy is working all the time.
Yeah. And I don't know how he looks so good. He looks so good for his age.
He's going to love that part.
I mean, he just, like, his complexion, like, he just looks like this. He's glowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. As stressful of a job it is, like, he's glowing. Like,
it doesn't look like he's working all hours of the night.
No, not whatsoever. Like, he's got a young one at home too. Looks like he's sleeping 12 hours a night.
Yeah.
He looks wide awake. I don't know what he's taking in his Starbucks order, but I'd love to know. Clearly it's working for him.
Yeah, because he just like I said to Rick at the end of the year, like, the quick turnaround, and then Taylor has the same thing, and then into off season and scouting and going to the draft, and then you're here, and then looked like he was in a hotel, so he's probably not going back to Fredericton that often to see his family. Like, it's just actually that's probably why, because he's in the hotels, he sleeps like a baby while the baby is at home, right?
That'll do it.
That'll help. All right.
Hey fans, did you just enjoy that video and you want more content just like that? It's real simple. Like and subscribe to the Wildcast Podcast YouTube page. Each and every week we have a podcast. We do interviews post game after each and every home game. Sometimes we go on the road. We do interviews as well. You want to click that bell so you don't miss any content in case we go live. Again, like and subscribe to the Wildcast Podcast YouTube page, and thanks for watching.